Hello everyone again, this is One-Eyed Willie. After the last video I wanted to clarify a few things about how to get your car ready for the track, how to make it perform better, handle better. And the first thing I wanted to clarify was what the difference looks like between Platinum and Ultra Platinum. Now this is the standard Platinum you'll find on the shelf from Pennzoil, which is not as good as Mobil 1. But it's sufficient for everyday driving. Better than Mobil 1 is the Ultra Platinum. I wanted to show you what that was. You can buy it at Walmart, you have to order it, or you can buy it through Amazon. This last time I had to buy from Amazon because Walmart didn't have it in stock. Second, I did flush out all of the old power steering fluid, and it took 2 quarts to make sure that all the old oil was out. So I know I said you're only going to need 1, but you'll probably need 2. You can buy this direct from Maxima's site, or again you can buy on Amazon, or some other retailer might have it. Okay, what I also changed, and I didn't include in the first video, is the fuel filter. And the reason you'll want to change this is because, as you can see, this is the original. So this is 28 years old. And if you have a clogged fuel filter, what happens is the fuel pump has to work much harder, and then it gets hot. It'll overheat or it'll vapor lock. So it's very important to change your fuel filter. Now on the C5s and C6s, I'm not sure exactly how to change those. On the C4s, you have to go underneath the car, loosen both hoses, and then you have to come up back through the top. After you loosen it and take the bracket off, you have to come up back, use a 3/8 fuel disconnect line, disconnect these 2 hoses, and then you can pull the filter, the assembly totally out, which makes it a lot easier to put the new one on. And then you just fish it back down through there, just pop these back on, and you're good to go. Now the last maintenance I do is I also go ahead and change the air filter. For air filter, I recommend either a Wix, of course, or a Purelator 1, not a general Purelator, but a Purelator 1. And the reason is because they filter out a lot of the contaminants, but still allow enough airflow so you're not restricting your horsepower. I don't recommend K&N filters. Number 1, because of the cost. Number 2, because they let in too many contaminants, and they'll actually ruin your engine over a while. And since on these Corvettes you have to take all this crap off, mainly up here, but it's a pain in the butt, you might as well pull this, put in your new thermostat, and with the thermostat, you want to get a 160 degree thermostat. Now I know the manufacturer recommends 180, but if you're going to take it to a track, you want the coolant to start going through the engine block before it hits 180. And the reason is because within a short amount of time, your engine's going to get up to 215, 220 very quickly. And so this kind of just offsets how quickly the motor gets hot. And when the engine block gets hot, then your engine oil gets hot, and then you end up with an overheating issue, which is very common on a track, especially with those Ford GT350s. So I recommend when you're doing this to go ahead, after you've flushed out the old coolant, to go ahead and put a 160 thermostat in it. On this model, it's just when you bolt this off, there's just a couple bolts to take it off and change that. And then while you're in there, you might as well clean your throttle body and clean your mass air flow sensor. Now on 92, 93s, they do not have an airflow sensor. So if you find something, and it's not this, if you find something in there, be advised that's not a mass airflow sensor that you can get to. So this is only specific to 94, 95, 96 and up. One last thing about your power steering pump. If you're going to be doing a lot of track, do not use a Chinese aftermarket pump. They will not last. I've burnt through 3 or 4 of them. They last me about 1 weekend, and then they overheat. The seals inside break down. It loses all pressure, it winds, and then it starts leaking. So if you're going to be tracking a car, use an OEM. What I like to do is buy another OEM used power steering pump off of eBay or somewhere and have them ship it directly to Turn 1 Steering, and they will rebuild it to a stage 1 or stage 2, and then you have a backup. So last, you'll want to go ahead and replace your serpentine belt, your pulleys, maybe not the tensioner, but at least the tensioner pulley. Typically, at least on these, the same pulley that is for the idler is the same pulley that goes on to the tensioner. So this is a smooth for a single-sided belt like this, for a 92 to 96, or I'm sorry, 94, 95, 96. 92 through 93 uses a double-sided V-belt, and that's what these look like. So I would I'll put some links in to most of all these products so you can find them easily. I don't really have a preferred manufacturer. I haven't seen any difference between a Gates or a Dayco or Continental. They all seem to have the same lifespan. And what you'll want to do when you get a new serpentine belt is order 2. The reason is if you're on a track and you throw a belt, your day's over. If you have a $15 belt on hand, which is about all they cost, your day isn't over. You can slap it on really quick and you're good to go. So that's about all for the general maintenance. The fluids you want to change. Just to recap real quick, we've changed motor oil, we've changed the fuel filter, we've changed transmission, we've done the rear end, we flushed the coolant, we flushed the power steering fluid, we've already bled all the old fluid out of the brakes, out of the brake lines with .4 fluid. I used actually 2 liters just to make sure that all the old brake fluid was gone. Of course, air filter, thermostat, and serpentine belt, and the pulleys. So that covers the boring stuff. And so now for the next video, we're going to get into some of the fun stuff. What will actually make a difference on the track. And if you have any questions, please comment. If you want to know where to find these products, I'll take the time beforehand to put all the links in the description. I'm not endorsed, so don't get mad at me if the product you buy is junk, but based on the experience I've had, these are what I would recommend and where I would buy them. So stay tuned for part 3. We're going to be dealing with alignment next and how to get these vets aligned properly so they perform better on the track. That's all for today. Have a good day. God bless.